Hey y'all, it's Amanda, and today we're going to be starting about cool season flowers that you can start from seed, specifically focusing on stalk, calendula, and sweet pea. I almost forgot the sweet pea. Okay, January you might feel really early to be starting seeds, but it's definitely not. For cool season flowers, this is actually the sweet spot to get started on those kind of things. So today I'm going to share 3 flowers that want cooler temperatures to germinate and grow, and I'll show you how, when, and why to start them together. So specifically, we're going to be focusing on the cool season flowers, specifically stalk, calendula, and sweet pea, all of which I've grown before and all of which I've had great success with. So what are cool flowers? When I say cool flowers, or you see cool flowers, in a video title or something like that, these germinate best in cool temperature soil. They grow slowly and sturdily, and they tolerate light frost once established out in your garden. A few different things about cool flowers. Starting them too warm will create weak growth, which creates a weak plant. These flowers are meant to be planted outdoors earlier than most people expect. So starting these in January is really no big deal. I'll probably be planting these into February into March outside. And these flowers evolve to grow when the soil is still cool. Literally, these flowers, this is what they want. This is what they have evolved into over the years. If we treat them like summer flowers, they'll struggle right away because they don't like the warmer temps. They like the cool temps. So why is January ideal for these cool season flowers? Timing matters. You want the ideal germination rate of 50 to 65 degrees. So putting them outside or starting them inside. My house tends to be cooler at this time of the year, so it works really well. January indoor conditions often naturally fall in that particular range. I don't have to use a heat mat. I literally can just have them out here and it works really, really great. Cool rooms, garages with lights, spare bedrooms, they all work really well for this solution. And early starts equal stronger root systems before the spring heat arrives. And those stronger root systems are going to reach down into the earth and stay cooler and help your plant last longer, even when some of the warmth arrives. Okay, so we're going to be starting our seeds inside. I've got a new tool that I'm using today. This is a sifter. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with my favorite potting soil that I like to use for seed starting. So let's start with that. All right, so I've got my soil mat going on year 3, which is super exciting. And let's talk about some of the products we're going to use today. We're going to use Burger BM7 soil, which is my favorite potting soil. And I think it works really, really great for seed starting as well. But I also see the benefit of perhaps just sifting it a little bit. And I was able to get this sifter specifically for soil. I got this on Amazon. So I wanted to just try and see how this went. Basically, you would put this like over a, what do you call it? Like a 5-gallon bucket and just kind of work all the soil through. I think I put too much in to start. This does seem a little tedious. But I think this is, it's putting off a finer soil. And I'll save like all the chunkier parts later on as well. You can see that this would be good just to go out and like in the garden on a nice day and sift through a whole bag of soil. Look at that. Those bigger chunks of bark out. And this sifter, I got it on Amazon. It comes in like different size mesh. So I think it's maybe 3/8 of an inch. I don't remember. But anyway, different size mesh. So you can make the soil as fine as you want. And like all that bark and stuff, I'm just putting to the side. We'll save it. And I'll throw it out when I do potting stuff in the spring. Okay, we're going to be utilizing my Amazon seed starting trays. These I've been using for several years now. They work really, really great for me. I start with the dry soil method, where I start with the dry soil and I go ahead and put it directly into the container. We're not trying to press down really hard or compact it. Press down just a little bit, but we still want that soil to be nice and loose so we can have lots of oxygen in there, that the roots can move easily through the soil. And this Amazon seed starting tray comes with the seed cells. So it's a set of 12 seed cells like that. And it comes with a water reservoir and a lid. Okay, the first thing we're going to talk about is stalk from seed. So stalk is one of my favorite cut flowers. It smells amazing. It's a very whimsical, romantic look. I love growing it. I've struggled with it in the past, but once I figured out the cool season approach, like what we're about to do, it works so much better because as soon as it gets above 85 degrees, stalk is very unhappy. So stalk is expensive as a transplant, excellent as a cut flower, performs best when started very early for cooler weather. Very important to remember. We're going to start with the seeds. The seeds are surface sows, so we do not bury them. So they're going to be right on top. So let me bring y'all in closer so you can see what that looks like. All right, we're going to be starting two different varieties of stalk seeds today. The first one being column stalk apple blossom from Seed Therapy. And then we're also going to be starting apricot seeds, stalk seeds from Eden Brothers. And these are super, super tiny. So very little. I'm just going to try to get a couple in the top of each cell. Now you notice my soil is still dry. We're just going to do one tray. The big goal this year is to not overdo it. I'm going to come back in and I'm going to just gently press down to make sure that the seeds have really great contact with the soil. But making sure that they stay on top because these do need light to germinate. All right, and let's go ahead and do the apple blossom. Apricot stalk has fragrant, soft apricot blooms on upright stems. It grows 18 to 24 inches tall and prefers cool weather with full sun to part shade, commonly grown as a cool season annual for cutting. Apple blossom column stalk features tall spikes of pink, rose-like, sweetly scented flowers. Plants reach 24 to 30 inches tall and thrive in full sun to part shade. Excellent for vertical interest and bouquets. All right, we want to go ahead and take our water reservoirs and fill these up 50% of the way. And this is the method I've utilized for my seed starting for a lot of years now. And we just allow it to soak up the water just like that. Okay, and when I label my seeds for starting, I like to make sure that I include the name, today's date, and how many days to germination. And these are 7 to 14 days to germination. And then we're going to go ahead and place the lid on top, making sure that the humidity dome is closed. This little dial is closed. Okay, that's exciting. Okay, so these stalk seeds take about 7 to 14 days to germinate. They need to be at about 55 to 65 degrees in order to germinate. So a little bit of a cooler situation. So if you're in a house like me, you can put them closer to a window. A window is typically going to be cooler than somewhere else in the room. You can do that. They do need light to germinate. So I've got my grow lights on and they will need 14 hours, minimum 14 hours a day of light in order to germinate. These are also surface, so we do not bury them. They must have the light. And we need to make sure that we provide a strong light once germinated because these can get very leggy very quickly. These tolerate a light frost once established and are ideal for very early spring planting. And I'm going to be utilizing them as cut flowers. Okay, now my lights down here have been messing up. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize these lights up higher. But I want my seeds to be much closer to the light. So I'm just using some of these quart-sized pots turned upside down to utilize these and get them closer up towards the light. And we are set for stalk, which is incredibly exciting that we are at that point. Okay, let's go on to Calendula. We're going to be starting one kind of calendula today called Sunset Buff from Seed Therapy. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to prep our trays the exact same way we just did. Okay, let me bring y'all in closer so you can see these up close. Okay, so calendula is a fast-growing, cool season bloomer. It's great for pollinators, cut flowers, and is extremely beginner-friendly. Now, look at those seeds. Aren't those so fun? These tend to be at about a 1/4 inch deep. So I am going to make a little divot in each of my cells. And I am going to drop 2 seeds in each hole. My son is a beginner French horn, and he's practicing right now, and he's learning the theme to Jurassic Park by John Williams. He's getting pretty good at it, actually. All right, I'm just going to make sure I go ahead and press these down a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come right over the top with a little more soil. We'll press down just like that. All right, now we're going to go ahead and fill up our tray 50% of the way with water, just plain tap water. Go ahead and drop that. All right, and we're going to go ahead and put our tag once again with the name, today's date, and the germination amount of days to germination. And then we're going to go ahead and cover it with humidity dome, making sure the dial is closed. Sunset Buff Calendula produces creamy apricot buff daisy flowers that shine in cool seasons. It grows 12 to 18 inches tall and prefers full sun. Great for pollinators, edible petals, and cutting. Okay, calendula. About 5 to 10 days to germination, so quick germination time. It needs to be at about 55 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit, so we're not putting this on a heat mat. It needs darkness to germinate, and that's why it's buried at a 1/4 inch in order to germinate. And then soaking helps, but is not required for these seeds, so you could have put them in water and allowed them to soak for a few hours. But I think that mine will be fine. You want to thin these early to prevent crowding. So I put multiple seeds in each hole. Once I have, if they both end up germinating, I'll cut one of them out and just leave one, which works better. And you want to keep cool to avoid floppy growth. These will flop over if they get too warm. They don't need pampering. These handle cool days and frost beautifully, and these are happier outside than they are inside. So truthfully, the sooner they sprout, probably then I would think maybe by the end of January, I might go ahead and plant these out. And then if we happen to have some major freezes or frost come around, I'll just cover them up to help out. But we're going to use the same method over here. Oh, actually, these are dark. I forgot. So for the dark ones, we're going to go put them down here. And then I'll just make sure I need to check on them. As soon as they sprout, they have to be moved up to the light. They can't stay in here or the seedlings will get super leggy. Okay, going over to sweet peas. And I had already started on my sweet peas. I've already got them soaking in the water here. So let me bring y'all in closer while we talk a little bit more about sweet peas. All right, so sweet peas are like the quintessential English garden kind of feel, very romantic, smell amazing. They tend to be a shorter stem, but they still make for really great bouquets. These flower best before the heat arrives, and if they have strong roots, that will equal more and better blooms for them. Now, for me, sweet peas tend to be a trap crop in that they really do attract what am I trying to say? Spider mites. So good and bad thing. Good thing because they all come to here. Bad thing is, well, we get them. So they don't go anywhere else. They just stay on the sweet peas. So I'm going to give it another try this year and see how it goes. The variety that I'm starting right here is called Bouquet Blend by Botanical Interests. Okay, now these tend to do better with deeper cells, but I've done these cells before and it worked fine. I just don't let them grow too overly much in this. And as soon as they're look like a strong seedling, I go ahead and plant them outside. So I'm going to show y'all how that process works for me today. Now these are planted at about 1 inch deep. So I am going to press my dauber in. You can just use a pencil. You can use a paintbrush. Whatever you want. So I'm just going to go ahead and press these in pretty deep. All right, and then I'm going to just pop one into each of the holes. And as I said, I pre-soak these about 8 hours. I think you can pre-soak them like 8 to 12 hours. It helps a lot because the outside part of these seeds is really hard, and you want to see if you can get a lot of that water into the center of the seed so it knows to go ahead and sprout. Gosh, I hope I'm getting these in. Well, I thought I had 12 in there, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like I might have only had 10. All right, so then we're just going to come back over with our dauber. Bouquet Blend Sweet Pea offers fragrant mixed colored blooms on climbing vines. With support, plants grow 6 to 8 feet tall and love full sun, a classic cool season cut flower favorite. Go ahead and kind of press them down and make sure this all has really great contact with the soil. All right, and we'll go ahead and use this water as soaking in. Fill this up 50% of the way. And go ahead and drop in our seed cells. All right, and we'll get our label in there, and we will take our humidity dome, put it on top, and make sure the dial is closed. Okay, very exciting. So a little bit about sweet peas. Like I said, they flower best before the heat hits, and once the heat starts to hit, and when I say heat, I mean like 80 degrees, like I mean, not like Texas heat, but like spring heat for Texas. Once the heat starts to hit, they fizzle out and they end up getting spider mites pretty bad. But prior to that, they are very enjoyable and smell amazing. These take 10 to 21 days to germinate, so quite a while. They need to be kept at about 50 to 60 degrees, and they need darkness to germinate. So they are going to go on this shelf underneath here. As well. We did bury these 1 inch deep, and we soaked them about 8 to 12 hours before planting, and that softens the seed coat and speeds germination process. Now, you're typically supposed to use deep pods for sweet peas because they have roots that don't like to be disturbed. I didn't do that. Like I said, I don't let them grow too far on prior to going ahead and planting them outside. So it's worked so far for me, in my opinion. They hate root disturbance. So literally when I take them out of this little tray, I will be as gentle as possible and just put them directly in the ground. No teasing the roots, no messing with them. These can go outside as soon as your soil is workable, and my soil is workable all season long, all winter season, which is great. Light frost is fine for these. If we get any really hard freezes, then I will try to cover them. And then earlier planting equals better flowering window, because the flowering window for sweet peas in the North Texas area is very, very short. Okay, that was exciting. So cool season flowers that you can get started in January. It was so exciting to get some seeds starting. I've also tried to combine some of my seed starting videos. Instead of being individual different varieties, try to group a group of 3 or 4 together so that these videos can be more educational for you all. So I'm really excited for that. Now, upkeep. That is probably it's a really important thing that a lot of people don't think about afterwards. Basically, after these sprout, they need to remain under the lights 14 to 16 hours a day. They want to be as close to the light as possible so that they do not stretch out. Same for these 2 that we have in darkness for the calendula and the sweet pea. Once they sprout, they need to get moved up to the light about 2 to 3 inches away from the light, and they need 14 to 16 hours a day. Once you have seen your seedlings kind of grow on and they've gotten taller than your seed tray, so you can see my seed tray right here. Once they get taller than the seed tray, it's about time to start potting them up. And I'll have more videos of that to come. And I'll also have some more videos that'll show you how to care for your seedlings along the way. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you're like me and you're on a gardening journey and you would like to do that with a good group of friends, check out my Patreon community. The link is in the video description below. It's a small group of people. We like to hang out with each other. We talk on a daily basis about gardening. You have access to lives, exclusive videos, PDFs, photo sharing, group chats. It's a really great group of people, small, intimate group that just really loves to talk about gardening. So if you're interested in that, be sure to check it out. As always, she's a mad gardener or a decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.